Just a man on a mission, ambition to never fail. Personality electric, he is animated male. Intelligent and wise, calm and often cool. Chris James giving opinions while also speaking the truth. Empathy and compassion. Stephen Michael is here, helping you through your traumas, helping you with your fears. These three forces combine and keep it honest. Turn up the volume, cause this is the application of knowledge.
Welcome to the Application of Knowledge podcast. I am Animated Mel. I have Chris James here. We have Stephen Michael here. We are on episode 93. 93 free as can be. You feel me? How we what's the energy like today? What we feeling today? What Stephen we getting today? Who we getting today?
The one that was on time.
Okay, that's what we getting today. Yeah, man. How you feeling, Chris?
Y'all niggas need to be on time. Stop being late.
What kind of Chris we getting today?
Niggas gonna be late for their own funeral one day.
It's called CP time.
Are you talking about death, man? Are you talking about death? You feel like killing somebody?
No, because tardiness is the lateness of ambition.
Is it?
Sounds good, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I just made it up.
I don't know. I've been late all my life.
Yeah,
All my life. You know
Are you saying that I could be much more successful than I am now if I would just show up to the podcast on time?
No, not necessarily to the podcast, but in general, you probably could be more successful.
Here's the thing. People say
if you weren't tardy.
People say the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that. And
but you just said you've been late till.
I mean, when I used to have a job, I would go to work like exactly on time, and they considered that late. They wanted you there 5 minutes early.
If you 5 minutes early, you late.
Yeah. No. 5 minutes early is late.
You're late if you're on time.
What's on time?
On time is 10 minutes early. You arrive early, so that way you can prepare for whatever it is you're going to do, whether it's work, whether it's a podcast.
Well, technically, for this podcast, we did turn up on time, though. We did, because we started at the time that we...
The thing is, we have to take 30 minutes to get ready to film.
Right. So. It's just like, imagine this, right? We both got on jerseys today, you know what I'm saying? Colts won this morning. We played New England.
Yeah, they shitty. New England's shitty.
Yeah, well, I'll take the W.
What was the score, 10-6 or something?
Yeah. And so imagine game time or kickoff is at 1 o'clock, right? Imagine if you sit down, you're pre-gaming, you got your jersey on, you show up at the stadium, you're ready, and then the bus rolls up, and then the players are getting off the bus, right? You'd be like, wait a second. The game is about to start. I'm about to walk in and get in my seat oh, nah, we're here now, right? Like, it's kickoff. It's at 1 o'clock. It's or 4:30, whatever time, right? Yeah. So you show up in advance to prepare for whatever work that you're about to do.
So you're speaking about work ethic and just making.
Just in general, I think that in life it's a good habit. It's like.
What are some things that are okay to be late to? Like, even if there's like a scheduled time to be there by.
What is something that it's okay to be late to?
Yeah. Yeah, because if a club open at 9, you ain't getting there at 9, are you?
No, that's not something that you're scheduled to be at.
Okay.
No one's waiting for you.
If there's like a birthday party,
are you
and the party starts at 4, you don't show up to 5:30.
Are you integral in this party?
I mean, your presence. I mean, it's not like you're planning.
Are you a guest?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Well, then you can show up whenever you want.
So
the other people may feel some type of way, but you're not stopping things from moving forward.
What if you have a dinner and you have to have a party of 10 to start your reservation, and there's only 4 people there because 6 people decided to show up late?
Yeah, well, that's a problem. They should have been there early.
I think that when it comes to showing up to things on time, obviously the situation makes a big difference. If there is an impact, so for example, if I'm a football player and I have a contract and I have to show up on time in order to get paid my millions of dollars, yeah, I'll probably be there on time. I'm probably not going to roll up on the bus at 1 when kickoff is.
So it is. So for you, you're saying that
It's not a monetary game, man.
It is a priority thing.
Yeah, the priority. This is what I was saying earlier. With the way you do one thing is not the way you do everything. The priority matters.
Yeah, it's all about priorities. So apparently, to some people, this isn't a priority. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. This is you. Now you have to
The
understand.
podcast isn't a priority.
Now you have to understand priorities. Priorities. Just because something's not number one priority doesn't mean it's not a priority.
So it's not number one priority on the day that it's supposed to be done.
I could tell you that something that'll take priority over the podcast. If nature calls me, it's gonna have priority. It is.
No, I feel you. I mean, because you don't really have any. You can't set a scheduled time for that. It just moves on its own.
It's gonna
It
go.
just
It's
does
gonna,
what it does.
It's gonna do what it does.
Interesting.
Which is it's understandable, but but at least we set the foundation as far as being late and stuff like that.
90-something episodes in.
Yeah, right. Almost to 100, but y'all need to be on time. We should have talked about this weeks ago.
Hey man, for real, like black people, like you know what I'm saying, we just gotta stop being late. Like stop moving. I mean, the fact that there's a whole term for it, CP time, is a problem.
Do you think being late is exclusive to black people?
No, I mean of course not. It's not.
Say black people did.
No, but no, we are the only ones that have a CP time. We're the only ones that have that.
Well,
ain't no white people's time. There's
you
no
know
Asian people's time.
Do you know why that exists?
Because we make time on our
hold
own.
He about to cook. He about to give us the history. Hold
Yeah,
on,
right,
let's go. Go ahead, Chris. Tell us why. What's
Back in the Egyptian time, there were sundials, and we the one that created it.
It
So
says, yes, if you read the monoliths, it'll tell you that the scope of this graph it articulates when the sun it points at this particular point. Go ahead, Chris. School us, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not in our nature. What time does a deer have to be there? Like in the morning, y'all remember in Lion King at the beginning, they all go to the water hole and they drink. It's like some scene where
Water hole.
they all drink.
What's so great about the water hole? I'll show you when we get there. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Do you think the lion's gonna be mad at the deers if they don't show up at the water hole at the right time? Like time only exists in this society, in this world. And if you go to other cultures, they're much more laxed on time. This whole thing, like this whole energy behind this is it's programming. And I know they don't like this, but the reality is corporate America, Rockefeller, the compulsory education system, the prison system, all the different systems, the judicial system, this is the only reason why we are so adamant about being in places on time. If we lived a more relaxed lifestyle like they do in other countries, this would not be a big deal. I remember one of my teachers, he went to I don't know, I can't remember what country. I was just trying to think of at least the country. But he went overseas to teach, and like I think he said, during midday they would take breaks. The whole city or that he was in, maybe the whole country, I don't know. They would just take a break in the middle of the day, and then when they would come back from the break,
Refreshing stuff.
they would basically refresh themselves. When they would come back, let's say they were supposed to be back at 3, they'd come in at 4:30. You know what I mean? And he couldn't understand. He's like, what's going on here? And it was everybody. Everybody did it. You know what I'm saying? So he's thinking they don't care. They're not a studious. They're not this, that. No, they just have a different culture. Why does it have to be this way? It doesn't have to be this way. There's entire cultures of people who don't live by this. You got to be here 5 minutes early, otherwise you're late. Like that's a us thing, and that's based on corporate America. Because other than that, it's like, just chill out. Like, if you think about how upset you are about this, like, this is not doing anything good for you, and it's out of your control. And we're here. We're doing it, Now, I can understand if it's gross negligence, and it's like, with the artists, you go to their concert, and they'll either show up an hour or even 3 hours late.
Like Lauryn Hill?
Or they'll cancel on you last minute. That type of gross negligence is unacceptable. But hey, if her fans keep paying and they keep doing it, I mean, I guess they like the abuse. But I would think gross negligence is going to be a problem. But 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, I just have a different perspective. That's all. And it's not a disrespect thing to anybody else. It's just I like to live as stress-free as possible. Y'all know I don't get upset when y'all are late. I will say, okay, I'm late the most.
I don't get upset. I just point it out.
I will say that I'm late the most, but it is no one here has a perfect track record.
Right.
So if that's like, you got to keep that same energy. Like, now you're late. Now what?
Because we had a conversation about something, and then literally the next week, Steven was the victim of his own complaint. It was like, we just talked about.
First of all, that was a much different situation.
Oh, that was different.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, I'm just saying.
It is different when it's you.
No, it's
like,
different.
It's different. Me.
It's different when it's different than this.
I gotta face the music.
See, like the thing is that, number one, I don't disagree with what you're saying. So let me just be clear, right? But that's not our culture. That's like saying that, like that woman who got stuck in Dubai because she was yelling at the rental car
aggressive
company, right? Would that have happened in America? No, right? But that's their culture. So, but when in Rome, right, you follow their rules. Yeah. So I'm not saying that you're wrong, but if that is how society moves, then that's how society moves, right? Like, for me, you said that you like to live a stress-free life. I can understand that, and I can respect that. And I think that's a good thing. But for me, in my head, when I have a deadline or whatever, right, or something on my schedule, if I have a meeting at 12, right? Matter of fact, I had the meeting yesterday with the PAM group, right? I was up, and I had other things that I needed to do that were a priority. And it was like 10 o'clock, the meeting was at 12. And then, of course, 10 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, I need to start moving so I can ensure that I get everything done prior so I can make sure I'm at this meeting on time, right? It wouldn't have been good for me just to say, oh, well, let me just take my time and show up 10 minutes late. I mean, would they have gotten, would it have been okay? I mean, sure. But for me, I do my best to try to be on time, because it's respect of other people's time, right? And then, of course, this is Sunday, and it's literally
football day.
Like, well, not just that, but it's for me, right? Number one, I'm currently on a schedule right now, so it's a refeed day, and it's also the only day of the week that I don't schedule clients. I don't have meetings typically. Sometimes we'll have a live or something, but for the most part, the only responsibility that I have on Sundays is this, right? Or, it doesn't have to just be this. I'm just speaking about this, but just in general. So this is my rest day. And I try to get certain things done that are scheduled and get them done, so then they don't go on till 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, because it just eats up my day, right? Like, I can't rest because I'm like, okay, I know that I have this coming up, and maybe I want to go out and go to the mall and walk around and do whatever. I can't do that because I know I have something coming up. So if this is late, or one thing is late, then it makes the rest of my day late, and it makes it hard for me to relax. So I just want to explain.
I completely understand why you don't like it. I know why. I mean, this is my rest day too. So I completely understand. I don't disagree with that. I do, and me having to have a bowel movement before the podcast is not me being disrespectful of your time.
Wake up earlier.
Yes, waking up.
Start moving around.
Yes,
Your body will.
Yes, waking up early would help, except it's really when I start moving. Like I have to actually get out of the bed and move, and then my body's like, oh, by the way.
So then you would then be up early,
And I'd have to
and
get
you'd
up
have
and
to
move around.
Right, but
see, now it's becoming more complicated.
But if you know, that's not complicated. That's
See,
normal
he likes
life.
to live a stress-free life.
If you
He cannot
know
be on time,
if you
it'll cause
know
him
that
stress.
this typically happens, right?
I'm learning the pattern.
I mean, it's been almost 2 years.
I mean, the thing is like, I understand the frustration. I just like, it is what it is. This is what it is. It's what it is.
Mel's known me all his life.
It's what
He
it
knows.
is.
He knows what it is.
Like, bruh, I didn't. He was my ride to jobs and stuff.
Man, do not bring that up.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Please.
I'm just saying. Like,
You-
I know, but I'm
that-
not even talking about that. I'm talking about in PA.
Literally, that part of your memory, you need to strip it from your mind.
Yeah, that part I'm not even thinking about. I'm talking about PA, where we're rack 'em, sack 'em, and pack 'em. And the Emily's work at HD Warehouse Supply.
We didn't make it there on time?
I mean, it's like right when the meeting was wrapping up.
I remember making it there on time.
And the dude would get heated, but it's all good.
But you know what, though? I don't remember. I think I know I left that job when we moved, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it comes to jobs, that's different. If we have a Pam call or something like that, that's different because you have tens of people. They're sitting there. They're waiting. They've moved around their schedule for this call.
Tens of people.
What?
I mean, it was just a funny thing.
It's just a funny. It was funny how you said it.
Yeah, we got about tens of people.
That's a lot of people. Listen,
I'm just saying, it's just funny.
Listen, people.
Like,
Listen,
you have either hundreds of people. Yeah, we got about tens of people.
you don't need hundreds of people, man.
Yeah.
Like tens of people matter.
So if it's a podcast, yeah, we got about 2 people waiting.
No,
for
it's
us.
just our family. Like it's our family. So
Right.
me personally, it's like I'll be like, okay, they understand, but clearly,
Yeah, I don't trip anymore. I know it still bothers Steven a
clearly,
little
I'm
bit.
ruffling some feathers. so I
You
would
wait outside by your car. You better watch out,
I'll
cuz.
see if I could wake up early and move around early. But then if I do that, if I make that extra effort, when you're late, I'm going to flame you. Like it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to be absolutely over the moon pissed.
Well, that's interesting. I've not been absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, because you're making me adjust something specifically for you.
It's not specifically for me.
It is. It's specifically for you.
No, it's for the whole.
No.
Of
Don't
everything.
include the whole. Just you.
No.
I would be doing it specifically for you.
No, you do it for Mel too.
Steven, I'm telling you, I would be doing it for you.
Okay.
That's a lot of
I
pressure.
mean, I don't mind. I mean, it's not a lot of pressure. I'm up.
Okay. You're always here on time. Okay.
All right, let's progress this conversation.
You know now
forward.
Mel's gonna be the late one now.
Nah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean. All right, now speaking of people and being on time and doing things effectively, have you y'all heard about this guy? Damn, I think his name is Keith Lee. He's
Yeah.
like a food critic, I believe, on TikTok.
I heard about him since he went to Atlanta.
Yeah, is he not from Atlanta?
No.
Okay, where's he from?
Vegas.
Oh, okay, cool. But they've been doing he's been doing a lot of food reviews, and lately he's been in Atlanta, and he's basically giving reviews on a lot of black businesses and how their establishment is ran or so. And a lot of times he gives critiques and food reviews that actually are beneficial to the owners, the food owners, the food restaurant owners, and then he gives information that ends up hurting a restaurant in a sense. And so when it comes to food review critics, a lot of people, they were up in arms because some of these businesses, they get death threats and stuff like that. People calling based
Ridiculous.
on their food reviews, that he has given them. And so he has recently gotten a lot of backlash because they speak about tearing down a black business, based on the food reviews or whatever. And then I was just like, hey, I don't think the black business should be upset over a bad review, or I don't think that a business should be, I guess, sent death threats over a bad review. I just think they should reflect and do better in that situation. And because there's plenty of times that we've gone to restaurants and we've waited an unreasonable amount of time or so. And a lot of businesses, they don't, it's an hour or two wait or something like that. And a lot of times in his reviews, he would speak about either the food being cold, the people having to wait, just because they're normal people. But unless they mention like, hey, we're with Keith Lee or whatever, then they start to show this extra effort of, showing their appreciation for their customer service. They basically change. They turncoat or whatever. So I just want to get your thoughts on how you think that food reviews should impact businesses and how the businesses should react to them.
First of all, let me just first start off in saying I really dislike the term black businesses.
Yeah.
Like I know you guys don't either. But like even when I was setting up my business and, Google or Yelp was like, oh, do you want to, say that you're a black business? No.
Right.
Right. Like, why does that matter? Mm-hmm. Like, I really dislike that. And not just black business, right? They do it with Latino owned. They do it with women owned. And it's just like, bro, let your business stand on its own 2 feet. Whether it is black owned, white owned, Latino owned, I don't care. Let it stand on its own 2 feet. The fact that these people, right, people got mad because he went down to Atlanta and they have a very different culture, right, as anybody else, right? And people in Atlanta are just like, well, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't like it. There's a lot of people that are like, I don't even like going out in Atlanta because of how they do things. But what are you going to do? You live there, right? So if you're going to go out to a restaurant, and if you want to support black-owned restaurants, then that's what you have to deal with. And number one is bull. On top of that, he wasn't tearing them down. If you don't have good service, you don't have good food, if there's something you don't like, about the restaurant, then he's just simply giving his take on it. He's giving his feedback, whether it's black or not, right? So the fact that people are like, now they're trying to come after him and cancel him, and it's like, bro, like, he's just giving a review based upon his experience, like he's done in Detroit, Chicago, Cali, like everywhere he goes. The only place that he had an issue with was Atlanta. So it's not just 1 or 2 restaurants, it's their culture. And it's the whole culture around, well, we're going to just support them just because we're the same skin color, which I completely disagree with. I'm not going to support your business just because you're black or you're a small black-owned business. If I support it because I like it. I support it because I like your product. I like your service. If I have to return something, right, I support it because I appreciate and I like it. Not because they're just black. So in general, I think that he does a great job. He's not a self-proclaimed food critic. That's a term that people have put on him. He basically just like, I'm a dude that just eats. I'm a regular guy. And he always wants to be treated that way. So he doesn't even go in to these restaurants himself. He sends his sister in or he sends a family member in so he doesn't get that treatment. But the reason he had to go in Atlanta is because they have no takeout policies. Like they don't do takeout in a lot of their restaurants. Apparently there's a reason. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe people don't pick up.
It's just they don't want to overtax their staff. They want to. So like if you're getting takeout orders and you have people at the business, you want to prioritize. There's that word again. The people at the business.
And that completely makes sense. Mm-hmm. So he just was like, it's a little different than what I normally do, but he was doing it. And then when he was doing that, I think it was one restaurant, he was waiting in line and he was already in line for like an hour. And then someone noticed him and they tried to bring him up to the front like, oh, come on. Like just what you were saying, Mel, to try to treat him as a star. And he's like, I don't like that. Like treat me like you treat everyone else. Like, don't go the extra mile, put extra sauce in my thing. Don't send the main cook back there to cook my food. I want it just like everyone else gets it. And then I'm going to give my review based upon that. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't like that whole star treatment, thing. And that's how they do. Like they were going to move him. There was one restaurant that was going to move him up and skip the line and give him a table. And he said, nah, man, I really prefer takeout. So they said, well, we'll give you takeout, And he said, okay, well, I'll only take it in advance if you give these people that were waiting in their car, they've already been waiting for like an hour and a half, give them the table you're going to give me. So he gave them the table, so they got to cut the line, and he got takeout.
Sounds very honorable.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, I mean, like, literally, this dude, like, I mean, he's literally going to small businesses that are failing, people that they have no idea who these businesses are, and if their food is good, he just talks about it on TikTok. And people are like, oh, let's go flood these businesses. And they're not even all black, right? He gives good reviews on, I just saw a review where there was this shop, the guy had been open 3 months, said he had the best wings, 10 out of 10, best wings ever tasted. The guy's always, no one knows about it. So he just did the review and the guy was crying. He was on the news. Like, so it's like we got upset. I don't want to say we. That community got upset
In Atlanta.
right? Because he was giving negative feedback, and they were under the expectation.
Constructive criticism. I wouldn't even call it negative.
That's you're correct. That's a better word. He was giving constructive criticism based upon a national, like what he's noticed nationally, and they took it as negative or tearing down black businesses, and they just assumed, oh, now he's coming to Atlanta, and so they started sending him invites, come here, come here, come here, and then now they're like, oh, well, you didn't give us a good review. Yeah, because it wasn't a good experience. So why would I give you a good review? And people were just like, oh, because we're black, you should support us. Stop tearing down our businesses. No, how about you then uplift yourself? How about you make some changes? And it's the whole situation is ridiculous, in my opinion.
He literally gave them a blueprint. Like, if I'm a business in Atlanta, maybe I'm not a business person. Maybe I'm just a restaurant. Maybe I'm just a chef, because there's a lot of those out there.
A lot of them.
So he comes through, stirs the pot, and he's like, you guys as a whole could look to do this better, and this better. I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, oh, shoot, I'm about to crush the game. Because if you're telling me that there's a shortfall, like, anybody in business, I don't know, I guess if you're not a business person, but like if anybody in business understands that you find a need and you fill that need.
There you go.
So he literally gave them a tremendous opportunity.
Nationally, too.
I mean, nationally, but specifically in Atlanta, because that's the culture in Atlanta.
Right. No, I was just saying he said it nationally. So then anybody like you could go in and say, right, let's say you go out and buy a business and,
Right. I mean, literally, I could go buy a restaurant in Atlanta, make those changes, and then triple up and have 3 different locations, because we have it's just like the Chick-fil-A process. Chick-fil-A is top tier because they have a process, they have training regimen, and they have people who are going to hold those employees to a certain standard. So every time you go to a Chick-fil-A, whether it's in Louisiana or New Orleans or Dallas, Texas, you're going to have the same experience, whether you're in Frisco or whether you're in South Dallas, So he really created an amazing opportunity for them. And the problem is we're so used to being victims. And this is the problem with our culture as copper people. We're so used to being victims, we don't take the opportunity. Like, you could improve. If this is the culture in Atlanta, that's white businesses, Latina businesses, etc., right? So if that's the culture, now you guys have the opportunity to stand out in an amazing way, So I think that, obviously you can't control what someone else is going to do and say. When you look at his reviews, they are beyond respectful. They're always beyond respectful. He literally goes out his way. You could tell his intention is good, even when he has to leave a poor review. But the reality is people follow him, and he has the influence he has because he's honest. And he said this several times. If you're not honest, people aren't going to I'm not going to have the impact. So then now this all becomes pointless. And also some of the restaurants that responded to him responded terribly.
Terribly.
Like absolutely terribly, right? Candy, she responded fairly well. People were upset because the restaurant you said where they tried to move him forward and treat him like a star, I think it was Candy's restaurant. And she just didn't address it at all. But she did explain why they don't do takeout and why they have some of their rules, which, cool, right? That's fine. People do things for a specific reason, but you have to be able to meet your customers' needs and demands. Forget all of that stuff. If you can do buy an auxiliary kitchen and do takeout orders. It's not hard.
Or hire more staff. If you are that busy and you have the income, then hire 2 people that specifically do takeout.
This is why I said a lot of these people are not business people. They're just restaurant owners, they're just cooks.
They're cooks that have decided that someone has talked to them and said, you could run a business. You should have a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then they don't have the business mind behind it to put in the Chick-fil-A system, so to speak, where everything is turnkey, right? Everything is, like this is the way that we do things. And then we do it a specific way so that way we can have quality amongst our food all over.
And our systems. Look, I'm going to give y'all a little piece of advice, Atlanta. Stop being scared. Go get, if there is not an auxiliary kitchen that you could utilize, build one. Stop being lazy. Build one. The problem is the culture in Atlanta. That means if you've got a kitchen that 5 different restaurants can use to help fulfill these surplus of orders, rent it out. You just created a whole new stream of income. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, the opportunities there are freaking off the charts.
There's lots of opportunities down there.
Like, it's so simple. It would take nothing to invest in that. You know what I'm saying? You're talking 20% down to acquire the property and have a kitchen. It's a kitchen. It's not a freaking luxury home. You just need to have certain simple things in place. There's no branding. There's nothing. All it is the different. And then you solicit to the restaurants. Hey guys, because maybe you only need it once a week. So you solicit to other restaurants. Hey guys, we have a issue here in Atlanta. I've noticed. I wanted to create a solution. If you want to help to boost your sales, we've seen our sales go up 500% on the weekends because now we can do takeout orders, right? Or, I mean, shoot, depending on where the kitchen is in relation to your restaurant, you could actually just have a bigger staff and you could run orders.
It's the same thing that they do with these, they're called non-labeled restaurants or whatever.
Yeah.
So like you get on a DoorDash, Uber Eats or whatever, you'll just see random restaurants, right?
Yeah.
I saw one like a year ago. It was like they do grilled cheese.
Yeah, the cheese meltdown.
Yeah, something like that, right? And where they said it was, it's up by like this IHOP and the quick stop, and I'm just like, there's no grilled cheese spot up there, right? And then I started to look into them, and I'm like, oh, they're cooking out of someone else's kitchen,
Yep.
right? And then you can't go there; you can only get it from the app. So then they're cooking it in probably that diner or something, and they will utilize it at night when the diner is closed. So the diner is only open till like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then they close, and then they have a staff that can go in there to cook. And then the dasher comes or, whatever, and they pick up the food and they run it to you.
Yep.
Like, it's easy to do that. And then now there's a lot of restaurants that do that. Denny's,
Yep.
they made the Burger Den, which now if you go to Denny's themselves, you can buy a burger as well as their regular meals. But they created a specific restaurant only for burgers because they have so many, and people will be looking for burgers, and people aren't going to go to Denny's for a burger, right? They're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'll go to wherever they can go for a burger. So they created that same thing with their own, their own
At
restaurants.
late night, I don't think you can get a burger late night.
You mean in the restaurant?
No. Period. Like in this area.
I
I don't think you can get a burger late night.
No, not unless you're going to like McDonald's or Whataburger or something.
McDonald's ain't 24 hours.
I have no
Is
idea.
it? I guess I don't really know.
Yeah,
But I don't think our McDonald's over here is 24 hours.
I don't think so either.
No,
Matter of fact, because I know the that I'm thinking of like that Taco Bell, Burger King.
Taco Bell's open late, but it's not 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't know what that McDonald's is, but at 2 a.m, whatever, I don't. Once again, I don't know.
You can't get a burger. So what they did was they found a need and they fulfilled that need.
There you go.
Now that DoorDash is a thing, it opened up a brand new market. So now people are like, they're ordering food extremely late, especially now that we're working from home. People's schedules are different, and they're finding that there is a culture of people that are up really, really late. So as a restaurant, you want them too.
You be up. I'll be like, that nigga is still up.
And you know I'm up because you up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's frustrating when things like this happen because it just shows you how poor a business people we have become, because this is not a normal thing for us, culturally speaking. If you look at our history, we're phenomenal business people. But nowadays, it's like we're this victim, give me a handout. I'm black, so therefore I'm incompetent, so therefore I need extra help. Like,
do y'all think that the business, like these businesses that are being critiqued, do you think that their outrage is understandable? And the reason why I ask that is because anytime you do something that you invest time into and someone has a negative response to it, you're not going to be so, depending on who you are, you're not going to be so welcoming to it and just be like, okay, I'm going to get better. So a lot of times people are upset. So do you think their anger is justifiable?
I think that, in general, I think that the inclination to be defensive is natural initially. Right. I think that is a normal human emotion or reaction, especially for something that you have invested into. For example, right, we just talked about the pictures.
Then you literally took the thought out of my mind.
I know.
I was about to say that you literally took the thought out of my mind.
Right. I think that it's something that you put your time and energy into. I think it's normal to be defensive at first, but even in the back of your mind, even in that situation, I said, okay, I could see I messed up. I could have done better. Right. I didn't say it to you.
Of course not.
Because I didn't want to give you the satisfaction.
And the thing is, it literally has nothing to do with the satisfaction. Because when I saw the pictures, I was going to message you. I was like, this is irrelevant because I can't change the pictures now. So I'll just wait until the next time he takes the pictures.
True. But I mean, the fact that you at least said it, right? I thought in my head, all right, well, let me just, make sure that I focus on this so that way it doesn't happen again. Right. If you would have never said it, for the most part, there probably wouldn't have been a problem, but it may have happened again in a month, 2 months, and it's like I should have said something, right?
It's hard for me not to say something. Like if I have a problem with something.
You got something in your beard, man. Let me get it out.
Go ahead, grab that out of his beard, man.
Nigga, hold on, do it. Hurry up.
Don't let him look
got
like
some
that.
food in there.
Got some food,
appreciate you, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You can cut it out if you want.
Nah, I'm gonna keep that in.
All right.
It's gonna be another pause moment. Go ahead.
You made me blank. So anyway, I did it. I appreciated it, right? Because it's what in the moment I didn't. I got defensive, but I did, as we were sitting here getting started, I did say, all right, I appreciate that, right? Something for me to pay attention and focus on.
All right, but you didn't tell me thank you or anything. Like, thank you for pointing that out.
I'm not, it doesn't.
You immediately just be like, hey, cuz, well, if we can begin on time, then I'll start taking pictures properly.
It took me some time. It took me some time to digest it.
Pause. All right.
Which is typical, right? Like, if you're not used to it. But this is why you temper yourself. This is why I'm saying they're not business people.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, first of all, you're in Atlanta, and these are popular restaurants. These are like, he's going to like popular restaurants, or the ones that had issues were the popular ones. Why don't you have a PR team? Like, you should have a PR team. Like, it is the age of social media. Where are you advertising? How do people know? Is it just because you have a famous celebrity face? A lot of things are uncovered when this type of stuff happens. The way a lot of these restaurants handled this, you're saying, okay, knee-jerk reaction. This pisses me off. I worked my butt off for this business. Okay, cool. And everything was going fine until he came. Okay, well, now you have an opportunity to excel beyond whatever you were at, right? That's what he actually did for you. So now let's calm down. Let's stop being mad. Listen to the actual review. Okay, he didn't even actually say anything bad. Now, here's where I would get upset. If someone came into my business and just lied.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or exaggerated an experience, which people do from time to time. And I absolutely go from 0 to 10. Like, it is not even funny how pissed off I get, because that's different. It's like, oh, I came here looking for support and I was broken down. I was torn down, and they overcharged me for this, and they didn't send me my products, and Chris sent me a nasty email. Oh, you're just gonna lie. Oh, okay. That's different. You know what I mean? But if somebody has a genuine critique, which we get, oh, this happened. I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do to keep that from happening again. That's my energy tool. And it happens.
It does.
Like,
I've been critiqued.
We have a business. It's going to happen. This is the other thing I'll say that I feel like culturally as copper people we don't do. We don't give ourselves grace. So, for example, if I make a mistake, right, I'm going to make a mistake. Give me an opportunity to correct the mistake. Don't just go off on Yelp. Don't just go off on wherever and be like, this business is terrible. I had this experience. They suck. Did you tell them you had this experience? No, I shouldn't need to. Yeah, you should need to. Like, what are you talking about? No, you shouldn't need to. What world do we live in? This is the problem with cancel culture and all this stuff. These crazy people just fly off the lid. And now all of a sudden, they feel so entitled to this perfect experience every time. Like somebody's not allowed to be human. It's absurd. As a matter of fact, me personally, I go somewhere, I have a poor experience. I'll give them an opportunity to correct it. If they correct it, that boosts my experience. Mm-hmm. It boosts it beyond what it could have been if we never had that problem. Because now it's like, oh, now I know how y'all are when the chips are down.
Yeah.
So now I trust y'all even more. So
it's like honestly, my last like really, really, really good customer service was with Nama, right, with the juicer. And the first time I had an issue with the juicer, it worked. It just, the top got stuck, and I couldn't get it off to clean it. So I could still use it. I just had to clean it in a very awkward way, right? And I reached out to them. They reached back. They had me send, videos of their issue. They sent me some steps to try to take. It didn't work. They replaced the unit. Right. I reached out about something else where the stopper was just, I reached out to buy another one. Like, oh, this isn't warranty. It's a wear and tear part. Reached out to buy another one. They just sent me a brand new one. Didn't even tell me they were sending it to me. They just said, oh, okay, what's your information so we can look it up. Looked it up. The next thing I got was a tracking number. Right. Like, to me, that level of customer service and support, even if that juicer wasn't like the best one in the world, to me, I'm a lifetime customer now, right? Just simply because you number one helped me, but also you did it in a way that was simple, that was easy. You solved my needs and you took care of my wants as well. So customer service, even like you said, Chris, on a bad experience is everything. Like give me a coupon that says, all right, well, I'll give you a free meal. I'll go back. Right. If I didn't have a good meal, I didn't have a good experience. This is different. This is not the norm for our restaurant. This is not the norm. Please come back. Here's a coupon. Come back anytime. You get a free meal on us. Right. Just little things like that.
Have you all ever had an experience with a business where it didn't go pleasant, as you just explained with whatever the fuck you just said with that Nama? Okay.
Don't disrespect them.
I did disrespect them.
See, look at that. I just went to bat for them.
I didn't know the fucking name. Just because I put a curse word in, it's not me disrespecting it.
It came off disrespectful.
Nigga, disrespect these nuts, nigga. Pause. Now,
Pause.
Like when you're at a business or, if you're a customer, do you remember a time where you had an unpleasant experience?
Mel, do you remember that time at IHOP?
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain what happened?
But as I can recall, Chris had an issue. He had an issue with his meal or whatever, and then I guess it was like just a regular employee. He talked.
It's a waitress, I think, right? Or
yeah, it was a waitress or so, and he was trying to fix the problem or explain it, and then the waitress was being resistant towards his his commentary of his disagreement with his
commentary
with his meal or what's happening. And then he said, okay, let me just speak to your manager. And then he spoke to the manager, and I don't think it was handled at all because Chris isn't going to IHOP anymore. You
haven't been to IHOP since?
No.
They got good pancakes.
And this This was probably over 10 years ago.
Wow.
It was close to 10 years ago.
Oh wait, was this here?
Yeah, it was in.
Oh, y'all must have just got here.
It was. We were still going to church at that time.
This was we
So
were in church, so you know this was a minute.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that because I was rolling. I was just getting weak. Like this nigga Chris. I would like to speak to your manager, please.
That don't even seem like something he would do.
I've never done it.
Anytime we go out to restaurants and there's an issue with something, I'm like, shit, Chris is about to say something, man.
Because of that one time. You're ridiculous.
When we were in Tennessee, who brought up the issue with the sour pancakes or whatever it was?
I think it was one of the girls.
Oh, was it? Was it Chris that asked for the manager?
I didn't have any pancakes.
No, but you were there though.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Mel's like, I don't remember. I wasn't.
No, I remember it. I don't know who brought it up because I know everyone had sour pancakes. I know Shell had them.
I had them. Shell had them.
One of our other members behind us had them.
Yep, and then Sasha's
son
had them.
So how do y'all think they did in that situation? Do you think they handled it properly?
I think they did moderately well.
I think they did moderately well. I think that they could have. It almost felt as though how she made me feel is that we were lying, like we weren't telling the truth. I feel like a restaurant should immediately accept fault. And we weren't asking for a free meal or anything. Just give me something different. There's something wrong with these. And it's not just mine. There's 1, 2, 3 people that have the same problem with the same product. There's probably something wrong with the product, right? So I think that they did an okay job. I think that, once again, not saying that those meals should have been free, but I think going above and beyond would say, you know what, we'll take care of the pancakes, we'll take them off, we'll give you something different, yada, yada, yada. You can pay for anything else that you got. But I don't know, the way that so they didn't handle it incorrectly. They
didn't do anything that stood out. It was like, it was just service.
Yeah, I just felt as though that the manager probably could have been. She made me feel as though we weren't necessarily telling the truth.
I feel you. I mean, I kind of got that same vibe, even though I didn't have the pancakes or so.
I didn't either. So,
but I mean,
it doesn't even make sense logically. Like, it's pancakes,
right?
And we ordered other things,
right?
So it's like,
how did she make you feel? Like,
she didn't make me feel as though she thought we were lying. She made me feel as though she wanted to confirm what was going on.
Like, confirm or almost confront us?
No,
like,
it felt like confirmation.
Like, okay, let me go back and taste them. Or
yeah, because I have a very logical mind. So I was, from my logical mind, I'm like, okay, maybe we can get to the bottom of this. Because if it's like, oh, okay, they're sour. Okay, thank you. What else would you like? That's not fixing anything.
Right.
What are you going to do with that knowledge now? You know what I mean? So I took it that way. However, the way I would have handled it, especially with that wanting to do that in-depth analysis, I would have been like, you could have anything, to replace your meal, anything on the menu. We're not going to charge you additional for it. Just whatever you want. Or
they would have saw Chris go back to his car with his hands like this, getting ready to do that food review. Like, sir, wait. Sir, wait. We have a new meal for you.
Nah, that wasn't. I don't think that was the situation. It just once again.
But
it's just how I felt mentally. Right, I can separate mentally. I liked the fact that she said, because I asked her. I said, "Did you taste them?" And she said, "Oh no, my cook's already making me a pancake now." So I mentally I like that, but it's just a me thing.
Just believe me, I'm not lying.
How she. It's just the vibe. It's just what I picked up.
But looking at it from just different perspectives, it's not our perspective, but just a different perspective. If I'm a owner, and this is a predominantly white establishment,
here we go,
and I got some black people coming in, and everybody like, yeah, man, something wrong with my food, but I need something else. I'm like, hey, man, hold on, cuz. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold on.
Interesting.
But the thing about it, Mel, is that would make more sense if we had eaten half the pancakes. We only had like one bite.
I mean,
out
literally
of every pancake.
Yeah.
I mean, but everybody ate. Everybody took a bite of something, right? Everybody got a little nib on
There's
your
a-
pancake.
no.
And it must not have been that sour.
That's interesting. It comes from your perspective.
No.
No, I understand why Mel.
I understand it as well,
'Cause
but,
Mel
but
used to be on
it
the
would,
swindle.
but I'm saying like,
yeah.
as you stated, it would make more sense if you ate half of it. It's like going to a restaurant and be like, "Hey man, something's wrong with this food." Like, yeah, bro, you ate half of it.
Because think about that. How many times have you either been with someone or been to a restaurant where they eat this and they get the waiter and they tell them something's wrong with their food?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we'll bring you out something else, but they'll still be eating on that food.
Yeah.
You know
Nah,
what I
that's
mean?
not right.
So it's just like, bro.
If something's wrong with the food, right? Let's say if you get a steak, if something is wrong with the steak and you have mashed potatoes, you got broccoli, right? If they say that they're okay, we'll replace the steak or we'll throw it back on, whatever. If they're just replacing the steak, you can continue eating the rest of your meal. But if you have a bowl of pasta, right, and it's mixed and it's, I don't know, Alfredo, right, and the noodles are undercooked, right, you can't sit there and keep eating the noodles like and then eventually halfway through be like, yeah, man, something's wrong with my noodles. The chicken is good, so I ate the chicken, but the noodles, like, can I get a new one? Like, nah, bro, that's just, you know what I mean? Send the whole thing back, you know? It's
Yeah, I would probably replace the entire dish. Like, even if it came with like broccoli and like a mashed potato or something, you know, just to.
Well, oftentimes they'll just replace the thing that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like they'll take
Right.
your plate.
and then they'll bring the whole plate back, but the only thing they changed was the thing that was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I made that example, because there are 3 different items.
Yeah.
When you have a bowl of something or whatever, you have to replace the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
It's a tough business, man. Let's keep it real. Like, it's a tough business. So I understand the level of sensitivity around restaurants. And, look, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to complain, or are you going to learn the business? Like, there's like Chick-fil-A, there's businesses out there that, yeah, even though it's a tough business, they are absolutely crushing it. So you can be wildly successful in this business. Where there's Cheesecake Factory, for example, has chains everywhere, all across the nation. We're talking about these 1 or 2 mom and pops in Atlanta, and it's like, are you looking to grow, or do you just want to struggle bust this one restaurant? Because, I mean, personally, I think that's a lot of pressure and stress. And I'm sure part of the congestion comes from the fact that there's only one location. So if you optimize the one location you have, you can get 2 locations. And if you have 2 optimized locations, you may find that you need 3. And you may find that you need 4. And now all of a sudden, you have a chain of restaurants because you've learned how to run one optimized and very successful, right? And so it's annoying to me because I'm a business person. It doesn't matter if it's a restaurant or an herbal tea shop or, I'm selling plastic cartons. Whatever I'm selling, I'm going to be able to run that business well because I'm a business person, So you got nobody to blame but yourself if you didn't take advantage of this opportunity and skyrocket your business, because with all this negative energy, you just take it and redirect it.
Yeah.
Hey, one of these restaurants could have been like, literally could have came out and been like, did a reaction to Keith Lee's review. That's what I would do. I would do a reaction to Keith Lee's video and be like, wow, as a business owner and not being a customer, I never saw this point of view. I have to, first of all, say thank you, Keith Lee, for sharing where we can improve. And second of all, I want to make a dedication to my customers that over the course of the next couple of weeks, we will be implementing strategy to eliminate these problems. And I want you guys to come and test us.
That's smart.
Yes.
I mean, that's what the big businesses do, though. Like, some of them. Like, if you think about what, like, the stuff that happens at Starbucks or so, about, like, just people coming in there. They going in Starbucks and, like, they're sitting down and they're working on their laptop. And then some people would, some, I guess, employees would harass whoever's sitting there because they're not a buying customer or so. And so, like, Starbucks, they implemented training to all their employees to say, hey, this is like an environment, and if people want to come in, work on their laptop and hook up to the Wi-Fi, it's okay, and stuff like that. So that's on a larger scale. So, like, if you're a smaller business, if the big businesses can do it, that should be an example set, so the smaller businesses can follow suit to say, hey, this is our business. This is where we make money. and there's no problem with improving your business practices, especially if this is something that you want to do long term. So shout out to Keith Lee out there. Keep doing your thug thizzle. You know what I mean? Holding it down.
I'm going to give y'all one more tip before we move on. If you take my advice and you do the reaction and you do all that, that's free game. You're welcome. Make you $100,000. Pick a day of the week where you have the least amount of traffic and offer some type of special. Hey, guys, if you come in Tuesday between 11 and 2 p.m., we're going to give you this. We're going to give you this. It's half off this. It's whatever. Pick a day where you have little traffic or whatever so you can help boost your sales, your productivity during that time frame. There you go. You're welcome.
Sound like you want to start a restaurant business.
No,
man.
that's just business. That's
just business. That's just business, man.
Nice. Well, shout out to you, Keith Lee. Keep doing your thug thizzle. If you ever in Texas, hey, man, let's collab.
Hey, if he comes to Texas, I would love to see what businesses he finds where the food is off the chain. Because
yeah,
I mean, most of the places we're not going to be able to eat at anyway.
I feel like Texas is very mid. Although some people like the food, they really do like it. But
I mean, our diet wouldn't be the most acclimated to the Texas food market. So
yeah, but I've never really thought Texas had great food.
You mean even before when we were eating normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree because like even when we lived in New York, we had some like standout places.
Man,
even living in Cincinnati, there's some places that are like, oh man, this is so good. I haven't had any wow factors.
That French restaurant we used to go to was pretty good.
What's the vegan spot? What's it called? Where I found it.
Oh, it's so vegan.
It's so vegan. I thought that food was actually pretty good.
It is good.
Where's It's So Vegan at?
It's like in
Grand Prairie.
Okay, I don't.
It's one of those. Number one, it's vegan. It's junk food. It's vegan soul food.
It's vegan soul food.
Right. It's not something that you eat all the time. But I said this is pretty. This is good. This is tasty.
It's good. It's good. There's really only one thing on the menu I don't like, which is their breaded chicken, and it's in a lot of dishes.
Okay.
So it eliminates quite a few dishes. But other than that, yeah, I think their food is good. It's not healthy.
It's not healthy. Not at all. You eat that once or twice a year, maybe, in my opinion.
All right. Which direction y'all want to go? Y'all want to do relationships?
Demon time.
Y'all want to do relationships or y'all want to do like social norms?
Demon
Social
time.
norms.
Steve,
wants to do social norms.
what do you want to do?
Demon time.
All right, we going. It's kind of demon time. Let's start with social norms. Okay.
What do you mean start with? Okay, whatever.
Well, let's just. Oh, do you think that you should have a certain level of knowledge in order to vote
Oh shit.
in society? Because a lot of there's elections happening and things of that nature, and there's a lot of people out there that say women shouldn't vote, and then there's people that say that you should be a certain age before you're allowed to vote. So do you think that you should have a certain level of knowledge, or maybe you should take a test or whatever it is in order to vote? I don't.
What's your opinion, man?
I mean,
You go first, Mel. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think you should have a certain level of knowledge, or you should take some kind of test to vote. Especially if we want to play in this world to think that our votes actually matter. If I'm going to be in this realm, so because if you aren't knowledgeable about something and you're just doing it to follow a particular path, or you're following the crowd, now you're just doing it to without the knowledge to make a change in a particular direction. Because like if I want to vote to get rid of books about LGBT stuff in schools, if I'm voting about that stuff about kids having sex at, them learning about that stuff at 5 years old, yes, I would be against that. But people wouldn't look at that through the same lens. They're just, they're thinking about it. They're not properly educated on that particular part. And so it's more an emotional based than anything, So I don't know. I do think there should be some level of knowledge that you have if you're going to participate in anything that's impactful to society in a sense. I don't think you should just vote because, hey, I'm eligible to vote, so now I'm 18, now I should be able to vote, because you could be knowledgeable about something when you're 12 or 16, super knowledgeable about it over an adult, and you're not able to vote simply because of your age. So I don't think your age should be a big factor, as long as maybe they have some kind of test that shows that you're knowledgeable about it, whatever that looks like. But if you don't have the knowledge to vote on it, I don't think you should vote on it. That's just my stance. Your thoughts? Damn, nigga.
Steven, this is what you wanted to talk about, so go and talk.
Is it?
I said social norms, man. You went with social norms.
Oh, I didn't know this was
Social norms for 500.
okay. Thank you, Alice Trebek.
Rest in peace.
Did he pass away?
That's what I just said.
Bob passed away too.
Yeah.
They all
Barker.
Yeah,
I remember that.
They're all biting.
Dang. Honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I think that age itself is not a good indication of eligibility to vote. You say that at 18 you're an adult, right? Like you hit this level and you unlock adult status. Why do we wait until 21 for you to drink, right? We know that, looking at it from a health stance, that the brain doesn't actually even finish developing to like 20 and 20 plus. I think it may be 25 or something like that. It's not 18. And I look at myself even now and look at an 18-year-old version of myself. I knew nothing, right? And now, years and years ago, I think that may have been a good standard based upon where the world was. In the last 10, 12 years, whatever, with social media and how it has exploded and completely changed the landscape of our entire society, the world. I think that now you have these political parties that have the ability to push an agenda. You have these legislators and lobbyists that can push an agenda not only to the politicians, but to the world on a world stage. I think it's a problem, and we understand and we can see that we're in a world where celebrities are gods. And if Kim Kardashian says, well, I'm voting for Donald Trump, then he's probably going to win, right? Like, it's people are voting based upon 1 to 2 issues that they feel strongly about, that ideally they probably didn't even come up with that ideation themselves. It was put onto them by other people, right? So, for example, right, the issue with abortion. When that all happened, what the federal government did was they took their covering off of it and then left it up to the states to then make that decision, right? When we're talking about voting, for the most part, people are talking about the national stage. We're talking about our presidents. We're talking about, things of that. We're talking about the president, right? And I think that a lot of people that are uneducated, where I agree with you on this part, where education is needed, is that most of the actual changes that you see on your day-to-day are on your local stage. They're not necessarily on the presidential stage. They're in your governor, your mayor, those type of things. These are the things that you should be going out to vote for. Ohio just passed a law. Proposition 2 that they legalize recreational marijuana.
Smoke weed every day.
So that is a local vote. That was on the 8th or whatever it was. But a lot of times people, they don't even go out to vote for that. They go vote for the president, but that's not going to affect you as much as them legalizing weed. So, and I think that also that in that election was also the Ohio's abortion law was up for grabs in that, or whatever it was, during that election also. So a lot of people are still so uneducated that they think that, oh, well, the president changed it. He didn't, or the Supreme Court, they didn't change it. They just said, you know what, federal government, we're not getting involved in this. We'll leave this up to the states. So people hear a Democrat saying, "Oh no, we're for pro-life or pro-choice, yada yada yada." So they're like, "Oh, I'm going to vote for him. He's my president," but he's not even the one that can control it. He's not the one. He or she, they're not the one that can actually do anything. So people are very uneducated, and you have social media that pushes these things at young people, knowing that they're truly uneducated, but because somebody in blue or someone in red or someone their favorite star says, yeah, man, pro-life, da-da-da, pro-choice, da-da-da, they just follow behind it. So it's not even about people are voting based on their education status or what's going to actually affect them. They're just voting on how they feel. They're voting on what they think is going to then better them. They don't look at the history, the track record, right? So that's why when we start talking about like, are you Republican or Democrat? When for my life, have been Democrat. Why? Because my dad was a Democrat. My mom was a Democrat, right? I then became an adult and I realized those were bad choices. Like the Democrats, if you look at it realistically, the Democrats are the reason that our community, the black community, the copper colored community has had so many issues. And then you have someone like Donald Trump, who's a Republican, that comes in and he's like, nah, let me bring some of these things back. People still think Obama was the greatest president ever. Why? Because he was brown skinned?
Yes, we can.
Right? But Donald Trump released way more of our people, regular ass people from prison than Obama. But they don't even want to look at that. So it's like when you start looking at the history and you start looking at what these actual presidents, we're talking the national stage, what these parties are doing, the red party has done way more for us than the blue party. The red party was founded by black men. People don't even know that, right? But they just now, everything is whitewashed. So everyone's like, oh, black people, we're Democrats. Why are you Democrat? Because they've tricked you.
Bill Clinton.
Right? Oh, Bill Clinton was cool. He smoked weed. He got head in the office. Da da da. Like I get it. I was there. I was with you too.
You was taking pictures.
You know what I'm saying? I was with you too. But then as an adult, I then started actually looking at things, and then realizing, you know what? They're actually not for us. None of them are actually for us. But if I had to vote, or if I wanted to vote, as I got educated, I then said, you know what? I'm actually a Republican. Right? Like I actually started looking at their stances on things and I said, no, I'm actually a Republican. So
you think there should be a certain level of
knowledge? I think that there should be a certain level of knowledge. I think that the age of 18 is too young. Once again, you can't even drink. You're not able to make the decision to drink, but yet you can make a decision to vote, right? Like, I don't know, man. Me personally, like I said, that's just my opinion.
Age of consent, 16 a lot of places.
I mean, it's just like, well, I can consent to sex at 16 or 14. I can get married at 14, 16 or whatever. At 18, I can now smoke cigarettes. Like, why do these numbers make up these levels where, I mean, obviously there are standards, but I mean, they've now started to increase the age for driving. Right, and then in certain places they're increasing the age of drinking because they now realize that 21 may be too young. Yeah, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. They're increasing the age of smoking because they realize 18 is too young. It's going up to 21.
Won't they just get rid of? Well, whatever.
Is vaping included in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are dying from vaping. A lot of children. But look, man, this whole thing is hard for me to even like.
I know because you're like not even in that.
Like it's like, hey, life changing decision. Who do you vote for? I'm like, it's not a life changing decision,
right? And
my vote doesn't matter. I've always said if I was going to vote, it would be locally, exclusively. Voting on that grand scale that everyone, like Steven said, is really concerned about. Like, let's be honest, like 80% of people arguing and stuff, they vote just federal. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like a waste of time. And what's actually more important is voting for your sheriff. Like the sheriff has a lot of control locally. Like if you put the energy and everything you give to the president, give that to the sheriff. That's a better vote if you're going to vote. So, yeah, I mean, but like in this imaginary world, well, where voting matters and all these things that you kind of laid out, then I would say that sure, I think that a test. Vivek talks about this. A test is cool. If you could pass the test, if you could show that you understand the inner workings of this thing at 12, I mean, you should be able to vote at 12. I think it's we have 28-year-olds who don't have the common sense of a 12-year-old. So, I mean, just because they're 28, they get to vote.
Right.
I don't see an issue with creating a hurdle for people to vote, to have to be an educated voter. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, why would you be upset about that? I mean, even as a voter, if you don't understand the landscape, that means your vote is ignorant. Why would you want to do that? Like, don't we defer to the professionals all the time? Mm-hmm. Oh, this is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He knows more than me. If he says the Earth is 125 million miles away, then that must be true because he can measure it with the tape. Like, he clearly has knowledge that I don't have. That's what we do all the time with everything else. So why wouldn't you defer to people who are more educated on political views and, things of that nature? I don't want my rights to be taken away. Bro, they take your rights away all the time. Mm-hmm. They've been slowly siphoning away your rights for the duration of your time here, and you've never paid attention to it. They put stuff like the Patriot Act in play. They've been spying on us. That's a whole Snowden thing. We found out that they were spying on us, listening. Everything that we thought was confirmed, and we still don't. Like, this is a waste of time, in my opinion. It's a waste of energy. And ultimately, what people need to be learning, if you really want to have an impact, you need to learn how to lobby. That's what you need to learn. Lobbying is not voting. Voting doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Lobbying is everything.
It gets them, the voters, the real voters, or the Electoral College, to move a certain direction.
Correct. So this is all everything. It's just smoke and mirrors. Nobody talks about lobbying. Nobody.
I'm not familiar with lobbying.
I just brought it up. Look, they're out of the eye for a reason. They're quiet. They're in the back. So let's say let me just give you an example of a lobbyist. You'll take a large oil company, and they find out that there's a tax that they want to, I don't know, X party wants to increase taxes on oil. Let's say the Democratic Party. A lot of Republicans are in oil. A lot of politicians are in oil. But let's just say the Democratic wants to, increase tax. So then the oil company sends a lobbyist, a man, woman, somebody who's influential, someone who's known, and then they start going to the Democrats or Republicans, and then they start offering them things. They'll start swaying them. And usually it's going to be sneakily, right? Take them out to dinner, hey, I got this new car. You want it? You know what I mean? Like, offer inside information, right? They're lobbying. They're giving them something, or they're saying, listen, you scratch my back, and, all the Republicans are going to vote for this, right? We need 2 Democrats. We only need 2. If you are the one, then I will give you an inside on a trade deal, or I'll give you an exclusive scoop on XYZ, or you have in your district, you have a you've been looking to do something for your district, your people that your constituents need a increase in your funding for school of $10,000. We'll donate it right to the school. No one ever knows. The oil company just donated $10,000 to the school. Great. Everyone's happy, right? But they gave something up for that. So that's the lobbyist. That's basically how it works. And it happens all day, every day.
I'm going to say that sounds like Cass's on a swindle.
That's exactly what it is.
No, it's very illegal.
We should have just said that.
Watch House of Cards.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's great.
It's so, in my opinion, it's very accurate. Even though I'm not there, I'm like, bro, this is it.
It literally looks like what I think actually happens. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing is art imitating life on the highest level.
Yeah.
Do we have time to touch on one topic, or we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, good.
I want to talk about. Well, see, what do you think? Do you think that long distance relationships
Oh, Jesus.
are destined to fail?
Where did this come from?
Life inspirations.
I think that they. Oh, I guess I'll start.
I mean, you started.
Yeah, I know, but I was gonna let Chris start. But I think that they have a lower expectancy of success, and the reason I say that is for the simple fact that you don't have that person with you, right? The person is not near you, and I think that it's a much more difficult type of relationship to form. I recently actually just saw a girl that I follow on Instagram, and she made a post about her boyfriend, and she was just like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy I don't have to pick you up from the airport anymore." And I was just like, "Oh my God, like, were you guys in a long distance relationship?" She was like, "Yeah." And, they had been dating for like over a year, long distance. And then eventually he ended up relocating, and now they're together. So I think that in order for them to work, number one, there needs to be an extreme amount of trust there. There needs to be a foundation of trust. I also think that both individuals need to have something happening in their life. So they need to be doing things that they are progressing in life to keep them busy, right? Maybe they're not necessarily focused on men or women or whatever. And then I also think that there needs to be the ability for them to see each other on a consistent basis. So, effort. It has to be on a whole new level. So women complain about effort or low effort from men. You're not going to be able to date a low effort man long distance. Like, you're going to have to be dating someone who, number one, you find true value in, someone that you feel like you really love, and both of you are willing to put in effort, because it's one of those things where it can't be one person. So even if I'm the one flying and you're the one, like, maybe you pay for my hotel every time I come out, right? Like, or we both fly, and you know what I mean? Like, it has to be a level of effort on both parties for that to truly work. And then at the end of the day, there needs to be some sort of end result. Like, hey, we're not doing this, just we'll see what happens, right? There has to be a goal in mind. And whenever that goal becomes unattainable, or if that goal gets to a point where you feel like it's not worth it, then the relationship needs to end. And that goal is going to be togetherness, one way or the other. I move there, you move here, whatever, one way or the other. That needs to be the end goal. So, but in general, I think that they absolutely can be successful. There's a lot of people that have been in long distance relationships. I've been in one previously. And it was one of my most loving relationships, the most loving relationship that I had been in the past. And but I think that for most people, it is a very difficult scenario. But yeah, they do have a lower chance of success.
Well said. I was about to say spoken and said at the same time.
Thanks,
Chris.
Yeah, long distance relationships can work. Do they have a lower opportunity of success? I don't know. Most relationships fail, so it's not. It's about the same, in my opinion. Like, I mean, we talking boyfriend, girlfriend. This is not even a marriage. Like, what's the chances that y'all are going to be together? What's the chances that relationship went from long distance to now? I'm assuming either maybe living closer together and it succeeding. I mean, probably lower now that y'all are together. I'm honestly, I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I'm just saying what I see. You know, people be in relationships together, their boyfriend, girlfriend for 20 years, have children, everything. They get married and they're divorced in a year. So it's like, being closer doesn't always make things better. Obviously, what's important is how you guys interact, your values, these core beliefs and things. I think if this person is on the same wavelength as you, it don't matter if she's next door or if she's 1,000 miles away. Y'all are going to figure it out. And if the person's not on the same wavelength, you're not going to figure it out. Now, obviously, there's some love language issues, so if you are a quality time person and a physical touch person, that's going to be very difficult for you to do long distance. It still can be done. It just means that, number one, you need to understand that's your love language. And number two, you guys need to just simply have a plan in place. Okay, twice a month or whatever the case is, we have a traveling expense. And this expense is designed to see each other twice a month. That's plenty. Seeing someone that you're dating twice a month is actually plenty. You should have your own life. You should have a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And how long have you been single since, before you started dating this person? People go months without dating anybody. So being able to consistently see someone twice a month, that's absolutely plenty.
I agree.
So I think that we in modern times, we make it seem like marriage and relationships are supposed to be this one way. But in reality, it doesn't. And I think it actually strengthens your relationship to not spend that much time with each other. The more time I spend with you, the more annoying you become, the more I don't appreciate you as much. Allow time and space. When you're planting a garden, it's very important to allow space for the leaves and the plants to breathe. You can't just plant everything right on top of each other, and it becomes a cluster, and there's not enough oxygen to flow. I need oxygen. Now, granted, I'm a Sag Capricorn. I call us Capitarius.
Jesus.
So I'm more in tune with this, right? But even those who are the romantic, the hopeless romantics that love the
Why
touch.
would you look at me? Why so fast?
Why
too?
wouldn't?
I mean, why would you?
He mentioned hopeless romantic.
You could have
Why wouldn't?
You could
Why
have
wouldn't I look at
You
you?
could have just continued to look at him like I was
And
doing.
you could have just shut the
No.
fuck up and let him finish talking and let me look at you.
Go ahead, Chris.
Even if you're a hopeless romantic that has the top love language as quality time and physical touch, this still applies to you. It's very rare that I see a couple that is just all over each other all the time for the rest of their life and they get married. That is so extremely rare. People need space. People need their own projects. They need their own friends. They need to maintain a sense of identity. Mm-hmm. Even though you are a family or you're a unit or whatever, you still need to maintain a sense of identity. That's why in the olden days, a lot of women would be upset. And I think why the feminist movement got so much steam is because they played on the weak point of our relationships at that time, which was that women didn't have lives. They did not have lives outside of their children and their husband, which I think is a problem. Mm-hmm. Even now, I think it's a problem. I think that a woman's focus as a mother and a wife should be on her husband and her children 100%. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that time and space needs to be made for her to be an individual. Yeah. That's very important. So they were able to use that because we were going through Great Depressions and wars and all this other stuff. So they were able to use that against women to get them to be like, we need to get in the workplace so we can have more freedom. But for the women who were properly maintained and they had their free time and they had their space and they, had the freedom to do this, that, whatever, they were like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay at home. Right? Because it's a good deal. Mm-hmm. Who wants to get up at 6:30 to go to work, fight traffic, be under a boss that you're smarter than, and then deal with people and coworkers and all their weird quirks?
The grass is greener.
There's nothing fun about that. And then what? You get to make money that the government takes 50% of. What's so fun about this?
Dude, people be like, why would y'all ever want to be masculinized and be independent? We got all this stress, we got all these bills, we got all this stuff going on. It's bro, why would you ask for this? Now, being able to work from home, we all work from home. It's just dude, I don't want to go into no job. Yeah. I don't want to. I said something the other day, And I was like, sometimes I kind of miss having a 9 to 5 because it's routine, right? Like it's mindless. And then she was like, you don't want a 9 to 5. And I said, no, I don't. I said, but there are things about it that as a Capricorn, Scorpio.
Is this because you've been indoctrinated?
Well, no. First of all, that's not what I was going to say. That's not because why. Damn, like y'all. Listen, this is 3 podcasts.
Wrong. That's
Mel.
This is
you
3 damn podcasts in a row.
You know he doesn't like when I say that.
When y'all have tried to say this shit, and I don't like it. Y'all gonna stop that.
It's not exclusive to you though.
It's not because I was indoctrinated. It's because it's not.
If that was never introduced to you, you wouldn't have that state of mind.
Okay, great. That's like saying if flying was never introduced to me, I wouldn't have the state of mind of I'd rather fly. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. What you said doesn't make sense.
What you said
exactly. That's my point.
No. That what now you trying to do, nigga. You need to come up with another one.
No, I'm past it, right? What I'm saying is that I, in general, like routine. It has nothing to do with my job. It's routine as whether it's my work, routine as me, whether it's how I eat. I thrive in routine.
Like a robot.
That's
what robots do. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? As long as they are able to get the job done.
Mel, don't you go to the gym like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
Wednesday, Thursday?
Okay, so I'm okay. I was
opposite. And Sunday.
Okay, that's your routine.
Yeah.
Like a robot.
Yeah.
No.
Don't get offended by that.
No, because you tried to play me.
No, you get offended by it.
No, it wasn't that I got offended. It was your intention to be offensive.
No, I have no malice.
I felt
There's no malice.
Just like when you said I was indoctrinated, baby. You know no malice?
Yes.
It was offensive.
No, you took it that way.
Okay, I did.
You decided to be offended. You being like these restaurant owners in Atlanta.
No,
being
that's not.
offended
No, that's no.
Like, okay, you know what?
No, because Mel, Chris has done it the last 2 weeks, and I don't take well to it, and you did it.
Well. Oh,
let me guess. You just didn't pay attention to it. I didn't realize
I wasn't paying attention. I'm not speaking with the intent of causing any kind of malice.
Okay. Well, I'm
never like that. Why would I do that to my brothers?
I didn't respond to you the same way.
I
didn't respond to you the same way I responded to Chris, because I didn't feel it. But at the same time, I wanted to set that. I wanted to cut it at its knees. I don't like that because it has nothing to do with that. It was based upon my enjoyment of routine. Gotcha. Like I said, I'm a Taurus. I like things. I like stability. I like things to move a certain way. Like I just like things. You know what I mean? Consistent.
That's
so yes. While I don't want to work a 9 to 5, I don't want to clock in. I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to do all that. But there is something about it that I have thrived under, and it is routine. So,
well, I mean, that's actually very common. It's one of the reasons why people do not become business owners.
Right.
There is a sense of stability. There's a sense of safety. There's a sense of when you're not the boss, when all you got to do is go 9 to 5. You know your lunch break. You can complain when things aren't right. Like you're not leading anything. Mm-hmm. So it's like you get to turn your brain off and just go to work. And that's what they want. They want mindless puppets at work. That's the whole point of the compulsory education system. Mm. It's not to educate you. It's not to enrich you. It's not because we care about it. It's because they want to make sure that they have factory workers and people who are willing to just do as they're told. They don't want critical thinkers. That takes brain power. That takes energy. That takes effort. That's tiring. So and this has nothing really to do with you or what you're saying. I'm just saying.
Thank you for making that clear.
In general, this is what
Mel was going to try to say, like Steven.
No.
In general, this is what people like about being an employee. And me, look, everyone can't be a chief. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone can't be. Everyone's not.
Everyone can't be. Everyone can't lead. There's certain. Everybody has their little ecosphere where they lead. You should be a leader at somewhere in your life, right? But when it comes to these corporate jobs and entities that shouldn't even exist, because this lifestyle is super unnatural, then there's going to be people who excel and people that don't, and everybody just plays their role for the quote unquote greater good. I just personally think that people need to be better informed. I kind of like the way the millennials move. A millennial will go to a job and they will lay out all their skills and everything on the table. Say, hey, this is my skill set. Boom, boom, boom. I want you to pay this amount because this is me. And they'll be like, okay, we'll pay you that. And then the millennial's like, look, you guys do X, Y, Z here. I don't like it. If you don't change it, I'm going to leave. And they'll be like, F you, millennial. And the millennial just goes ahead and gets a new job. And then he leverages or she leverages his old job against his new job and be like, look, I made $200,000 here. I'm going to need you guys to pay me $210. This is what I bring to the table. They're like, okay, cool. We'll give you $210. And they just play in the field. So the millennials are different from baby boomers and even Gen X, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, okay. I wanted to say that as the guy who's been in a lot of long distance relationships before y'all started talking about working in these robot routines.
We let you go first.
Nah.
Oh, something
I didn't go first at all.
Oh, that's right.
I asked a question.
Oh, that's right. My bad. I apologize.
And you got all offended.
Mel is the long distance king.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll just say briefly that I don't think that long distance relationship will ever be able to survive the test of time. And they would have to, at some point, that long distance will have to end. And
So then they would have to come together.
Yeah, yes, which wouldn't be long distance.
Wait, is the assumption that they're never going to come together?
Well, it's just the long distance relationship aspect.
Just that moment.
Yeah, it won't last if it stays long distance.
Not forever. I mean, even I'll concede to that point. I didn't think that was
I said that.
I didn't think that was the assumption.
I didn't think so either.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think that long distance relationship will survive if it stays long distance. Similar to everything that you spoke about is about, y'all both made some incredible points as far as like creating that union, having an understanding of how much time you want to see one another, and creating that field of not being annoyed and things like that. That stuff plays a big factor. But it also depends on your age, and your maturity level. Because when I was in long distance relationships, man, the level of worry that I had in my heart.
Oh, jeez. Worried about
me, but what the hell she doing? Yeah, but she in college.
That doesn't.
Yeah, in college on campus going to parties.
You should.
Well, I was in a long distance relationship when she was in college.
You know what I mean? And then
you should be worried.
And I had nights, bruh. I had sleepless nights where
nights.
I wrote a song about it because I couldn't sleep. Wow. And I was just like, bruh. Like, I'm calling and she's not answering the phone. Like,
go ahead and give us a 16 on it.
We were just speaking. You didn't answer the phone. You're not answering my messages. Like, what is going on right now?
She's just living life, man.
Oh no, she was avoiding me.
Oh wow.
She was avoiding my calls because she knew she fucked up.
Yeah, that's a wrap. But that's when it, that's when it's coming to an end.
It was just like, oh fuck, I don't want to answer because like I'm like calling like, what is happening right now? Like, what's up? Communicate. I need that. I'm in Texas. You're in Ohio. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, we need this communication.
Just told exactly who it was, huh?
I mean, she don't watch this anyway, so she know what it is.
You don't know.
I know.
Are you friends with her still?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, she don't know.
I mean, I could probably reach out, but.
Bro.
No, don't reach out to her.
Oh, he definitely is probably going.
We'll see.
Ow.
We'll see. Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, that was the only long distance relationship I had. I had one.
No, you didn't. No, you've had so many long distance.
Yeah,
at least 2, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had multiple. You know what I mean? I had multiple. I had multiple.
More than 2.
Yeah.
I only know of 2.
Yeah. I mean, nothing was like anything like crazy, but the ones that were like really impactful to my heart were 2 of them, and that's why I'm just like, nope. Not doing long distance, but like as far as like if they lived like if they lived in a different state or whatever, I would be okay with like visiting each other, taking turns visiting each other and things like that. Because not all love you will find right next door. There's incredible
That's
people.
True.
There's incredible people that you meet out there that man, it's like I've never found this anywhere, and it's worth to invest that time to spend with one another. As long as you have the end goal or the end game is to,
connect.
Connect and be in the same state and live together. Ultimately, if you have a timeline, cool. Maybe a few years, couple years, but as long as you maintain that foundation, to allow your relationship to flourish properly, then you're on the right path to success. But long distance relationship, I don't recommend them unless they're like-minded individuals and you all have an end goal.
Let me ask you a question. In your opinion, with you having so much experience with long distance relationships, what amount of distance is considered long distance? Approximately. There's no right or wrong. I'm just curious.
2 hours.
Okay.
I would say 2 hours.
Yeah, I would say 2 hours.
Okay.
Because 1 hour is not. It's not. You can see each other 3-4 times a week. It's pretty easy.
2 hours is a trip.
2 hours is a trip.
Yeah. That's like when I was in
It's like both ways too, man.
When I was 4 hours total. Yeah. When I was in Delaware, my kids in Pennsylvania were 2 hours 10 minutes. So I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be making that every weekend, but randomly on a Tuesday, if I got off the next day, I might drive out to see you, girl. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
it's
that's
like
easy. If you could go spend the night, that makes it very easy.
Yeah.
But 2 hours there, 2 hours back. I mean, that adds up. So 1 hour, much easier. I could do.
Yeah, 1 hour is nothing. Even an hour and 30 minutes. Is really
Okay, so is there a difference between? So it's not necessarily the how you're traveling. It's the time. So basically, let's say 2 hours by planes, still long distance, obviously, right? 2 hours by cars.
I mean,
it's
same time frame.
The plane, when you bring the plane in, if any time you have to get on a plane,
it's long
that's
distance.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Houston, but like Houston's 4 hours.
It's 4 hours,
right? So,
but
yeah.
it's 30 minutes on a plane. It's still
but
long
it's still
distance.
long distance. Okay.
I
all
could
right.
probably get into a relationship with someone who lived in Houston.
The problem with the plane in Houston is the price. It's very expensive to fly.
Yeah, but like, bro, I'm going 45 minutes. You guys all stop there. All of their planes stop there when you're leaving Texas in that direction. There's tons of flights there.
From Dallas?
Yeah. There's tons of flights down there.
You might be better off then, if that's the case, Stephen. You might be better off buying a ticket from wherever to Houston, and then
just getting on
at Dallas. If you're saying it stops in, if it's
That could
stops
be.
in Dallas, or vice versa, right? If you going from Dallas to El Paso and it stops in Houston, I mean, you got to get a little creative with it, but that will work too.
I mean, I'm not dating anyone in Houston, but I was thinking a train.
I mean, whatever you got going on in Houston, ain't got that to do with me, man.
Why are you trying to play me?
I'm just saying, ain't got that to do with me.
I'm just thinking of Houston because I'm thinking like it's 4 hours, but it's like not super far. It just pops in my head.
Houston, you could do in less than 4 hours. You could do it in 3 hours and 30 minutes. It depends on where you're going.
Could you? Okay.
Yeah, it depends.
I'm about to say we've been to Houston multiple times. It's been 4 hours.
Houston is Houston is I can think it'd be worth it under the right circumstances. The problem with Houston is there's nothing in between.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
You can't even be like, all right, let's meet, and then someone else's city. There's nothing there
because that would be lit. And this is like when I've done long distance relationships. I'm like, okay, cool. You're in Georgia. Here to Georgia is easy, but let's say if you're in maybe Pennsylvania or something. Hey, let's meet in Chicago. Let's meet in Chicago and let's have fun in Chicago. So I like to implement those types of strategies.
Yeah.
It makes things more exciting, and it actually gives you something special that you wouldn't get with a traditional relationship.
Yeah.
There's definitely benefits to it, for sure. And once again, I like the fact. I think that's why I said that if you're doing it, both people need to have things happening in their life, because it's hard to, as a man, to focus all that time and attention on a woman, and you're building, right? Like we're all building right now. Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult to, because as soon as you fall in love or you like her, you're going to give her all of your time. Like it's going to take away from the work that you're doing. So there's been times in my life where long distance relationships have been the best thing for me, and didn't know it until, it was either over or I was in it. Like, yeah, would I like to see you more? Absolutely. But I can see how it's actually a very big benefit that I'm not with you, because it allows me to build up that desire. Like when I see you, I'm just like, you know what I mean?
Right. Got that build up. Ready to release.
Wow.
That's not what I was.
Release that build up, all this anticipation. So all ladies out there, you know what I mean? Y'all trying to holler at the boy?
Mel, you just said a long distance relationship is destined to fail.
Hey, as long as we have the end goal of uniting, holla at your boy.
Basically, you gotta come to Texas too.
Yeah, I mean, that's inevitable. You have to come to Texas.
Yeah.
That better be the end goal. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, we're building something amazing over here, baby. Come be part of the foundation. You dig? Now, we appreciate y'all rocking out with us. You know what I mean? We have fun this episode. Not too much arguing. Damn it.
Oh, you want an argument? You want a confrontation?
Hey, people love
They
confrontation.
want
man.
viral
Oh,
moments,
wow.
baby.
We
It's
gotta
all
go-
about getting
we trying
them
to go
viral
viral,
hits.
baby. Hey, but next week we're gonna go viral.
Wow.
Wow. We know
Animated
that.
Bell, Chris James, Stephen Michael. We are the Application Knowledge Podcast. We will see you beautiful people next time.